sometimes people have what it takes, but they haven't recognized it yet. Just go forward. So what do you need to do? How do you stand out? So what you need to do is be that person that's different and is bigger than you think. Rise from the ashes and fly like the phoenixes that you are. Hello, everybody, and welcome. This is Andrew David Blake, Newbar's partner program. Today, got a special guest with us, and I was saying we're going to talk about brain. We're going to talk about a little bit of everything. We're going to just talk about basics. We want to get to basics. That's what we're looking to do. So if you have questions, go ahead, drop them in. But Darren, I normally chime in and talk a little bit about you, but how did you get started with, what were you doing before social media was part of your life on a regular basis?
Well, let's see, how far should we go back? Pizza Hut, Nando's, chicken restaurants, that kind of thing?
That works. I had McDonald's and a ice cream TCBY yogurt place in my background, so we can all start there. But a little bit before that, how'd things go?
Yeah, things over there, it was okay for a while. I only did 7 months in pizza, and then I ended up flying over to Florida because I was kind of in between doing like my pilot's license. So I flew over to Florida and did all my hours building over there. Eventually finished I think it was in 2012. So I did a stretch between 2006 and 2012, trained as a pilot, finished on the 737. Ended up working for an airline for about like 4 or 5 years, based in Spain for about 3. And then something hit me in November 2018. Lots of different things kind of just started piling up. I didn't agree with it. Legislation, different contracts between the UK and Spain. But anyway, I decided to pull the trigger and say that I'm done with talking to nobody about it. It's just something internal. And it was around about Christmas time, just before Christmas time, when I left. And I remember my very last flight as we kind of took off from from Alicante, and it was an emergency flight. Actually, we were on airport standby, and the Batman phone rang. And I picked up the phone, and they said, "Hey, could you stay on another like 20 minutes?" And it's at 11 p.m. We've already stayed up all day. And then suddenly the phone rang again and said, "Hey, we need you to go to Malta." I said, "Okay, sure." Never flown from Alicante, Spain to Malta. Didn't know how long it was going to take. We just thought, okay, yeah, we're off we're going to go and save the flight. Turns out when we land, we see the aircraft departing. What a waste of a journey. What a waste of time. Okay, so that was one of the things that kind of like ticked things off with me. And eventually I decided to kind of pull the trigger and tell the manager that I'm done. She was surprised, didn't know that was going to happen, gave them 30 days notice, still worked that. And then I continued full time into the entrepreneurial online game. So that's where things kind of started off for me back in 2018.
So as people are, and now you've done, with ClickFunnels, you've been an affiliate and are an affiliate with a number of other programs. You're promoting the partner program. You kind of develop some of your own stuff. You've got your own Facebook group now. So today we want to talk just kind of basics. So if you were to compare Facebook with, say, Instagram or LinkedIn, like what are some of the benefits of Facebook versus some of the other platforms?
I would say it's more targeted because, Instagram is more kind of like Polaroid on steroids. It's just an online version of that. But that's how it kind of began. It was just all pictures and then eventually a bunch of hashtags, but it's not very targeted as such. But the data is held within Facebook, but Facebook eventually bought into Instagram. And so they hold the data and kind of merge data there. So everybody that has an account with Instagram, Facebook already knows, and they can link them together. So with Facebook, you can find congregations a lot easier because there's already groups around there for it. Okay, you can find groups about all sorts of things. Bird watching, if you wanted to, aviation, if you wanted to. People who have kind of congregated cabin crew, flight deck together in this one group. When I was kind of looking at things, and they were looking at, what do we do now? We can't fly, so what is it that you're doing? And so they were kind of asking each other what's going on. On your personal profile, if you do leverage those groups, you then have those people following you because you've built some sort of know, like, and trust. And that's either throughout your own content, your stories, your posts. Maybe if they followed you inside of your group, they get to see who you are. Now, on Instagram, they can't really do that. You kind of have to pull them in another direction using another social media, maybe using Instagram, maybe using YouTube, where you can actually provide more content over there, longer videos and things like that, or into Facebook or into a group of things like that. So you can see how the synergies all kind of work together. They're all purposeful in certain ways. People like one platform over another. But yeah, definitely Facebook has the data and has, that's where a lot of the advertising actually happens as well. A lot of people don't really see behind the scenes, but if you look at pages as well, you can also spy on the people who are already running ads as well.
Okay, so we'll get to pages and spying and things like that here in a second. So let's assume, I mean, they're brand new or fairly new to Facebook. And so I'm going to set up a page. So let's start with a personal page. Coming in as an individual that's like, maybe I've had this for a little bit. And odds are really the only people I've connected with are family. I got my kids on there, maybe some aunts and uncles. There's brothers and sisters, people like that, and I'm a handful of friends. I'm going, and so now that I'm kind of starting this journey as an entrepreneur, how should I approach my page, especially if I'm feeling like, hey, I don't know if should I worry about my family seeing anything on there? Is it going to be a big deal? What's your experience? What have you seen? Because I'm sure you get asked that plenty.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, so I can approach this in different ways. So there are certain people who are brand new to Facebook who've never used it before and created a brand new account. So it's a clean canvas. Nobody's following you. So as you continue with time, of course, family and friends may discover that you're actually on the platform. Because maybe you've registered your email address, or maybe because you've registered your phone number with that, and they say, "Oh, suddenly, Lynn Westwood, I see you on the call, and Valencia, I see you on the call," and they've created an account, let's say, and they say, "Oh, your friend or your family member is now on Facebook." You get an email, you get a text message, or maybe even a notification instead of using the app. Anyway, for those people that are brand new, don't really worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Just do it. Like, why would I not worry about it? What if my mom sees that I'm posting something about business on Facebook?
Well, there's different things you could actually use with Facebook on your personal profile. So let's talk personal profile first, and then we've got pages as well afterwards as well. Personal profile, you can actually leverage it in a way if you're either brand new or you've kind of been on Facebook for a while, over 10, 15 years or whatever it is. One, you've got history there. Facebook know you. So that's a good thing. I've seen plenty of different people open up another Facebook account, personal profile, and they've been restricted or flagged when it comes to Facebook ads. Suddenly they've said, "Hey, could you produce your ID for me?"
Yeah,
and then they realized
that happens a bunch. Yeah.
And then suddenly you can't use either account because they've just deleted you. They've blocked you. So stay Facebook safe. Rule number one personal profile, as many pages and as many groups as you like from there. And then going basic in terms of like what can people really do. You could start, if you're brand new, you can start filtering out using some sort of filtering process, and create like a filter for your family, filter for colleagues, or filter for specific people that you're marketing to. So when you do a post, it doesn't go to everybody. It'll go to those specific people in that filter.
So you can filter out. So like, I don't have to worry about what I'm putting on my page, because my personal profile, because I can create some filters. Not everybody's going to see everything. I'm going to be fine.
Yeah. And the trick about this as well, like not a lot of people really talk about this, is that once you've gained enough traction on your personal profile, maybe enough followers or enough friends, you allow 5,000 maximum on your personal profile, and that post flies. Suddenly it becomes really popular and you've reused it again. Let's say that post that you did 9-10 years ago, or maybe a few months ago, you reused it again and you pretty much said the same thing, not exactly the same, but the same thing. Maybe use a different image. And you would like to either reuse it again or pin it to the top. There's lots of different things you can do.
When you say pin it to the top, so we have on the page, and I'm trying to make this as like, we're really just kind of getting into what it is and how to use social media and how social media works in general. I think I want to kind of look at it from 3 different perspectives, kind of like, hey, I'm a user, I'm a business owner. And then the way that Facebook or the company itself sees our interactions and why certain things happen, right? Because there's certain, you mentioned 5,000 people, or maybe I'm building up and I've only got 500, I've got 1,000. So why is it if I post something, like you mentioned, at some point you'll be able to reuse content and you can just modify some, it had a pop before, I can get it to pop again. Why is it that if I post something and I've got 1,000 friends, because I think that's one of the big concerns that a lot of people have. Well, I've got all these people from work. Well, if I post, and I got 1,000 friends. Why do I only get like 10 likes? Or, because sometimes, yeah, the content sucks, but sometimes, like, what's another factor? Like, why is it that that's all the reach I get?
It's probably because you haven't been engaging before. You're kind of brand new to actually posting and providing content as well. So not only that, you might have like 5,000 on your personal profile, at least 1,000 or 2,000, but when Facebook thinks something is rich in content or something that is really popular, it spikes what we call it is in the algorithm in itself. So say, for example, everybody on the call, we have 31 people on the call right now. If those people, maybe only 10 people on this call liked it, then Facebook starts to say, okay, well, this piece of content right here on this personal profile is a good piece of content. So I think we should push it out to everybody else slowly on his personal profile so that it will actually land on their feeds. So when they log in on the phone, they'll see it most likely at the top.
Yeah. So part of it's you engage. So like if I'm engaging with your stuff and like there's 30 people on here. So if I engage on these 30 people over the course of the next few days, and then I post something, there's a better chance that they're going to see my stuff because Facebook's like, hey, these people are engaging some, right? Like if I comment, you comment back, not just like I like your post. Because otherwise you could just scroll through like, and the only thing that's going to happen is you're going to see their post forever, right? Or at least for the next little bit. Now, if I comment and I get some kind of response back, then next time I post, there's a chance that what I post is going to be there. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it's kind of like the law of reciprocity in that sense. So like if you engage on Facebook inside of the platform,
right,
on the personal profile, it's kind of I regard it as the surface level.
Okay.
You're still able to pop up on their feeds. So on each other's feeds, if you're both posting.
Yeah, so we're both posting. So you're posting, I'm posting. Now you're much more frequent than I am. And I need to get back into it. I admit that. I've been using other platforms, but so I post, you comment on mine. Hey, that looks cool. I go, what are you working on? Whatever. You respond back. I go, yeah, it does look cool. So I respond back to you. Now the likelihood of next time I post, you're going to see it increases and vice versa. Right. And then there's a chance, like if I comment something worthwhile on your post, you respond, someone else responds to that, we get a couple of likes and stuff on my post. There's that chance that Facebook might show my stuff, start spreading that out a little bit because they're like, hey, all these people kind of, it seems they run in the same circles. They're all kind of talking, now maybe I pop up as someone you may know or things like that. Right. Is that kind of algorithm wise? Is that kind of what you've seen?
Yeah, absolutely. I remember the time when Blake was kind of like on the outside of this, on the fence, just there, kind of inside of the program, but not inside of the team. I remember when I was answering a lot of questions.
You were like at the playground, like eating your lunch in your own corner, watching them play kickball and wanting to come join in. Yeah,
I was just answering everybody's questions inside of the group, kind of like. But it was fun. It was fun. Like to begin with, I didn't really know anything about anything, and then I just started watching everybody else's answers, started doing some research. But anyway, Blake did a joint venture and it just took off. And basically the short story of that, it was sent out to an email list, and I think it was like 3 emails, and it generated a lot. But what he did on that post, and when he was excited to share with everybody that he did a joint venture with someone absolutely huge, he tagged me in the post. And because my personal profile was open, it landed on my feed as well. So it's using somebody else's posts as your own. It's like somebody else doing the work for you. So
if someone else tags you, right?
Yeah, someone else tags you.
Because you don't want to spam. Like, I don't want to post something and just spam a handful of people. Be like, oh, I'm going to put in Blake and Darren and Andrew and Dean Graciosi and all these others, because then everybody's going to see that they're going to think I'm running in the same circle. Like, that doesn't work. But if someone does that for me, I can use it.
Yeah, you can have a choice if you want to post it to your personal profile or not. So you can say yes or no, and it doesn't show it. So
yeah, so all you guys can set that up ahead of time. You can set preferences in your settings to allow, like if I get tagged, I had to set this up because of my mom, honestly, because she would post all the time. Like, she's on this weird kick right now where because I was born in Oakland, California. I grew up watching the Oakland A's, and she just sees all these baseball posts and Oakland A's posts from like the 80s and 70s and shit. And she's like, she's tagging me in everything. She's posting on her wall and tagging me. And she does the same thing for like she's a World War II buff. So she'll like all these random things. And I had to tell my mom, I'm like, Mom, my Facebook's my workplace. So just consider that my workplace. You can't just do that. Right. Now, and so that goes to like, oh, what about my family and this and that? I just tell her, look, Mom, this is work for me. Now, occasionally I still get the comments, Andrew, call me, as if she can't text me that, like, but she does it on Facebook. You'll still get that, guys. It happens. But you just kind of, you set your settings so that if they tag you, you've got to approve it. But like if Darren tagged me in something, hey, all of a sudden he's introducing me to his network. That's great. So I talk about, for you guys, if you've got a niche that you're going after, talk with some of them. So like if I'm doing digital marketing and I connect with Darren in one of these groups, I see all this stuff that Darren's doing. Now, let me approach this scenario with you, Darren, to see what you would do. So let's say I've got my page and I got my personal, I got my business, but I got my page and I go, hey, listen, Darren, I've been following you for a while. I see all this stuff. Like, I love your posts, love the way you write your content. It's fantastic. I work with some digital entrepreneurs. I got this real simple, thing I do, but I wanted to ask you, can I ask you a couple questions? I want to feature you on my page, like to give you a shout out, because I think the stuff you do is cool. So I just got these 3 questions, and then I love this picture. I wanted to post your post. Are you okay if I share that post that you shared? Can I share that on my page and tag in that and ask this question? Are you cool with that?
Yeah. If someone comes up to me in that sense and has done their research and approached it in that way, in a really polite way, I'd prefer that over somebody who just kind of let's say just steals content, but then doesn't reference myself,
Right.
So that's a nice, polite way. And
once I've done that, so now I share it on my page and I comment there. Would you comment or maybe repost or like put it in your stories maybe that you had been like, would you do that?
Yeah. So for example, someone on the call or here or right now, you've just done that. And maybe after the live call or something, whatever has been shared, I may do a story and share it with other people and tag you on that. So there is that reciprocation that happens either before the event, during the event, and after the event. So you're feeding people in both directions, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. So then, I take this picture and I'm like, hey, and then I post it on the story. I tagged Darren, like, hey, we were talking about one of you guys can do something like this. Darren shared this. You guys should go follow him. And then Darren's going to go in and share that story back, but he's tagging you. Is this what I'm talking about? What we're talking about here? Does this make sense? I got a couple of people looking at me like with their brows furrowed. So it's simple. When you go to post, if you're connected to somebody or if they have a certain page, you can tag them in tagging them just means like I'm posting that I'm with Darren kind of thing. Right. And I've got this picture of Darren. You guys could do that. Like you post Darren and Andrew and you got this picture, and people have done it with Blake and things when Blake's been on calls with me. I've done it when I had authors on, when I've had Darren on and Blake on. I do it all the time. Hey, we're talking about Facebook marketing. I'll do that. They reshare it. Now there's that little bit of introduction of me to their people, just like I'm introducing them to mine. So there's that little bit of reciprocity, like you said. And then next time around, there's a chance they might show me more of Darren's stuff because I said I was with Darren. Same thing happens on the other side. Connect with people in your niche beyond just a like. Is what we're kind of saying, right? So you can start to organically build that audience, right? So Eve is asking about the algorithms. I used to get 70 to 90 comments, and then it dropped to approximately 25. What do you think's going on? What would be your initial?
One could be consistency. Like, had you been doing this every day, every couple of days, every week, or did you have a big gap in between as well? That can happen. Or the content could just suddenly just suck for a minute. It can happen. Yeah. But that same content can also be really good. It's just that the algorithm's not in your favor. There's lots of different factors that can affect this.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes on, guys. Part of it's just, how, if they're commenting, are you commenting back? Are you engaging as well? Because if you're not connecting to the audience back, then Facebook's going to go, oh, well, like Facebook as a whole, here's something you got to remember all the time, right? Like when you go into a mall, there's a reason that inside that mall, there's a variety of different stores. And then after a while, they started putting the food courts in there, right? Because they didn't want you to leave for lunch. They wanted you to stay there as long as possible, right? We all understand that. Facebook is kind of the same way. Facebook wants you to stay there for everything. That's why they started to allow shopping so they could generate ad dollars, but they want you to engage there. They're doing the video content because they don't want you going to TikTok for videos. They want to want you to watch their short videos there. They put the stories up at the top because they found that people are watching those stories and sometimes staying on those stories for minutes every single day instead of just going through the news feeds. Facebook wants you to stay on the page. So in order to stay on the page, they want engaging content that makes everybody feel welcome and feel good. There is a little bit of the controversial stuff, but it's so niche down that like, if this group is going to bitch and complain about something, then everybody on there is going to bitch and complain. And they're keeping people on the platform so they're okay until people report it enough, and then they'll take it down. But as long as nobody's reporting it, they're going to keep it rolling, right? They want you to stay there. So if you're putting out stuff and you're commenting and you're posting, people are commenting, posting back, they're going to keep themselves going. How do you get the algorithms to favor you? Post more, do more, be super consistent, post extra, pay attention to what's trending. You can find like what's trending all across different platforms. Do the same shit. Like that's what they like. If they are liking something, then do it. And then they modify themselves once in a while. But don't become inconsistent. That's a big thing. Like, 2 to 3 times a week isn't enough. It's just not, and if you're only commenting a couple of times a week, it's the same kind of thing. So Scott's asking, can you address priming on personal profile and in groups?
Yeah, sure. So as you build your personal profile and find other groups and other people that you have a synergy with, you're adding people as friends, you start to see them in your feed. And so if you see something that you like and you appreciate the content, give it a like, give it a heart, give it more than a like, actually, give it a heart, give it a care, give it a wow, give it something of a positive engagement, not just a like. That shows Facebook, firstly, that you're spending a little bit more time on the platform. It's kind of like YouTube, spending more time on the video as well, or on the ad, you're spending a bit more time on the video. If Facebook's giving you a tool and it's right in front of us and we're not using it to its full potential and we're just going around just liking, Facebook gave us other tools a little bit later on. It wasn't too long ago, actually. So give it a heart. The next thing you want to consider is to tag them in the comment, give them something of feedback, maybe an agreement or maybe your perspective, something positive. Most likely you'll get a good response if it's something positive rather than something negative. Okay. So you've got your comment, you've got your like, you've got your comment, you're going to tag them, tag their name using the @ symbol. Very simple to do. If you don't know how to do that, if you don't know how to tag them, just quickly find on YouTube, how do you tag somebody on Facebook, and it will show you within like 2 minutes. The next thing that you want to do is actually type out something of a decent response rather than happy Monday, and then
saying, oh, cool, great, love it, right? Like write something out, actually engage.
Something.
Yeah. It's not that difficult, guys. It really isn't. Like we make it more difficult than it needs to be, right?
Yeah. And then the other two elements that I normally used to do inside of the group, specifically inside of the Blake's Final program, is that you could also add some emojis inside of the comments as well. So you're spending a little bit more time. That doesn't take very long, especially when you're on your phone. So you get used to your keyboard, you can just pull out your phone and just reply just like that. If you want to go the extra mile, you can add a GIF, a little bit of playfulness inside of there. like I said, Facebook's giving you this extra tool. You don't have to. That's just something that I did, and it's just something how I became noticed inside of the group very quickly with. But if you do that, keep going down the feed and go and finding other content that you do like, and do that for about 15, 20 minutes. If you want to go and do 2 bursts of 15 minutes, it doesn't really take up too much time of your day. And what you'll probably find is that when you do a post, it will land with some reciprocation. Get my words out today. Reciprocation. Some other people that you've already commented on, they'll see your post and they'll come back and give you feedback as well. So
yeah, so you can split that up, guys, like a few minutes in the morning, a few minutes in the evening or afternoon or whatever, because you'll have some people on in the morning, you'll have some people on in the evening. That's just how it works. The way the Facebook feed is kind of goofy too. Like, pay attention to that, because you'll have, I'm sure it's going to end up with something here. So, you'll have something where, sorry guys, I'm on my wrong profile. Personal. Facebook changes things all the time as well. Like, I got on this morning and it had updated my page. So like Joe here, and I'm going to, you can heart this and you can write in, instead of just writing congrats, like write something a little bit more, and I will, because he's actually a client of mine I generate leads for. But if you're going through, like, okay, that one was 34 minutes. This is 10 hours. This is 17 minutes. This is 2 hours. Like, it's not necessarily in chronological order. 14 hours, 10 hours again, 2 hours. Like, so morning, afternoon, or morning, evening plays a role, because you're going to be shown different things. So get on there, comment a little bit, but engage with people. Don't just go, oh, cool. Right? Think a little bit, do the same thing. And when we say, what are we doing inside of groups? I'm, without even sharing something, look, I can pull up groups and I'm a part of, you've got Blake's, you've got others that I'm a part of. You're going to end up, if I scroll through entrepreneur, coaching, books, LinkedIn, spiritual, real estate investors, but I would pick out maybe 3 or 4 of those in the morning, 3 or 4 in the evening, go in, and I can post something, or at least comment on a handful of posts, so that you start showing up in there. And then that's when people start to look. What I was getting at is that it helps the algorithm to make your post higher priority and show to more people. Yeah. So all of this that we're talking about is priming the pump. The algorithm then goes, oh, they're engaged. And people are engaging with them. The Facebook algorithm is saying we should put this in front of more people, because this is someone that's going to be here, right? If your page hasn't had posts in months, or posts once a week, right? And the only thing that you post is come buy my shit. If that's all that you got, Facebook's going to go, yeah, I'm good. We're not going to promote you, because there's no reason for them to, right?
What I would do on top of that to actually include with the priming as well, like once you've done the priming and you've done your post, I would do a story as well, or do a highlight. So straight afterwards, to make sure that everyone sees it, because it's the very first thing that you see inside of your app, and also at the top on desktop as well. If Andrew did a story right now, I would see it first. Okay, so you've built that rapport, you're kind of building the engagement. Andrew's one of the first people that would be on my storyline at the top, and I would click on it. And if I'd missed the post, it might say, "Hey, come along to my group," or whatever it is. You're missing out on this live call, or whatever it is, right? That's happening right now. It's just highlighting for a second what they've just missed, and they may click on the personal profile at the top. So his name will be at the top. You can click on that and see what other posts he has. And they may go deep on the profile, not just have a look at that one post, and might see other things too.
Yeah. Got to be willing to do the work, guys. That's really the key. So Eve, what do you mean about photos? Photos are great. Post photos, but don't post just photos. I would post text along with it. Video, look, order of importance. And this is because this is how the Facebook algorithm works, because it's what people enjoy. Video is number 1. And video is number 1. Number 2 would be a picture post with text, because people are going to spend the extra moment to read it, and then because it's about time. So if I get someone to watch a 15-second video or a 60-second video, I'm keeping them on the page. And if in the way the algorithm works, if people watch that whole video, now it's going to start prioritizing you. But you got to make the first 3 to 5 seconds like that's your hook. If you don't catch them, you're done. So video, photo with text, photo by itself, text by itself with engagement. Other people's links, well, like a link off of Facebook. If I'm posting a link from some article from a magazine, instead of finding some website and posting that, what I'm going to try and do is find their Facebook page and share that instead. Because Facebook doesn't want you to share links to take people off of Facebook. So that's like when if you're trying to post on your posts, the link to your page, Facebook isn't going to prioritize that because you're trying to take people off of Facebook and they don't want you to do that. So that's why we tell you, have it on your page, have it in your bio, tell people, hey, here's where you want to look, but I'm not posting that all the time because Facebook isn't going to go, oh, let me show Darren's posting his link. I want to show Darren's link. What they're going to do is say, Andrew's sharing his link by paying me by running an ad. Who's going to get priority? Right? If I'm, Facebook saying if I'm going to let them take somebody off of Facebook, they're going to pay me for it because otherwise you're buried. Does that make sense, guys? So when you post, you're just posting your stuff. People say this all the time. I post every day. I post my link for a post. It's in the comments. Okay. Facebook's going to shut that down. They're going to go, well, great. We're not showing their stuff anymore because they're breaking, what did Darren say a minute ago? Make sure that you don't, what'd you say? Not break it, but break the rules or something.
Well, sometimes you're going to have to go out there and test it, see what works, see what doesn't.
So anyway,
that's a very good point right there. Like when I first started out, I thought, just post my link, but you're killing your post reach straight away. You have permission by Facebook to place your link in a certain location. That's in your intro, your bio section. Okay. Yeah. And place it behind your cover. That's it. If you wanted to add any other links afterwards, you could use something called an m.me link that takes it into the direct messenger of Facebook, another side of the platform that they opened up, that they stripped away. It's the highest level of engagement where you can take the conversation further. So say, for example, that you provided something like a lead magnet, say, hey, who wants this? And you've given this long story post with that picture. In my personal profile, there is exactly that. And that post flew. I didn't provide the link to that item inside of the comments. Nobody knew the link unless they were sent it inside of the direct messenger. That's one strategy that a lot of people are using right now. And it's https:// m.me/ your username for your personal profile. Andrew might be able to show you on screen where his handle is for that. If you know what that is.
I could, yours is on there, right? I don't think
mine's on there.
Yeah, let me pull yours up.
So what I will do as Andrew's pulling this up on the screen is that if you're saying, hey, check your inbox, I've just sent you a message and you're not friends, and they click on that link, they'll direct them straight into your inbox. Okay, so whether you're friends or not, and you sent them a message, you most likely landed in their spam box if you're not friends. But if you provided that m.me link on that very first post there, if he expands out the comments on that, you'll see that on the replies.
But real quick about all this. So here's a picture, right? This is from March 31st. So this was a while ago. So he has text and he has it's an engaging post, and the text is spread out and it's easy to read, and as opposed to just one block of text. Don't write like that. Okay. So then we come down, and then what do we want to do? Here we go.
So in the comments, each and every person. So in that text, I've mentioned twice, depending on how far they read down inside of the text, a call to action, which was #let's go or just let's go. Everyone gave their own different versions of it below. So you can see Pierre. We also have Rick, let's go, And anybody that provided me any sort of feedback, you're not just doing the likes. Like Andrew was saying earlier, you're not just liking or commenting back. You go further. So that's why you want to take it into the highest level of engagement inside of Facebook. This is organic and this is free. And what you can see there is that m.me/Darren Moorath. At the top, at the URL bar, you can see facebook.com/Darren Moorath. My handle is right there. If you haven't configured that, maybe just type into Facebook, into YouTube and say, how do I create my handle for Facebook? You'll find an answer very, very quickly.
You guys see what he's talking about right here, where it has his name?
If you've got zeros and ones and twos in there, then that's going to be your handle instead for now.
I want to say mine's set up. Oh, I've got 79. I got to change that.
Oh, no, you're good. You're good.
But so Darren set it up, right? You know, and he's got the m.me like he was talking about. But you notice he's not just like, oh, let's go like. He's writing them back, you know, and he's typing things out. He's writing a bit more, right? He's engaging with them. And that's a key. Okay.
Yeah. Before the event as well. During the event and after the event, the words start to change. Hey, you missed out on this as you go further down. But basically, you're not taking them off the platform per se. You're actually moving them to another side of the platform. Like
yeah, so you're taking them to a group. This could be where you take them to your business page, right? There's that transition from where you are to where you could be, right? So, but the key is, again, not just writing, been an interesting day. Like there's more here, and all of his posts, it'd take me 12 years to run through all of your comments here.
Just refresh.
Yeah. So, you know, when you get back down, he's engaging, it's different, right? And he's engaging with people inside his comments. And here's the thing, like we had, I think Eve was talking about the, 75 to 29. The key is quality too, right? Like who is seeing it and how are they engaging with you? If you can get them into a conversation. So even when I have like my highest level of engagement, I'm not at 75 comments, even when I'm rolling, but I get the handful that I want. I get a couple of messages, I make my sales. Right now, I prime my sales with value and then partner program. And then I'm trying to get people, I've talked about this before, but I'm utilizing that to also do digital agency and other stuff. So, but I'm priming that. I'm worried about the quality. Okay. That's the most important thing to me, because if I'm getting my quality and I'm making my sales, I'm making money, then I don't care about all the other stuff. Right. It's not just for purposes of man, I got a bunch of likes. How are they engaging and what are they doing? And if you can maintain that, then that momentum turns into something real. So
completely agree with you on that. Like there's a lot of people out there that are going out there for the numbers over quality over quantity. 100%.
Yeah, because there's a lot of people you'll see with, hundreds of likes or a ton of comments, being an influencer and having a bunch of likes and followers is one thing, but I've seen, it's been a year and a half, 2 years now, but there was a story of this girl that was an influencer and she had something like 20 million followers and she went out to launch her own brand, but she didn't engage. She wasn't posting any kind of content that was engaging to them. It was just, pretty pictures, some fashion, some nature, everything else. There was no value other than that. And there was no connection with her audience. Millions and millions of followers, launched a brand. And instead of doing like Teespring or something where it was, print on demand, where you only paid when you ordered things, she went out to build her brand and paid for an MOQ, a minimum order quantity of shirts and things. And she sold like 2, right? In her launch to millions of followers over the course of weeks. She spent tens of thousands of dollars to get all of this stuff done and then didn't sell anything because she didn't understand marketing. She didn't understand engagement. She didn't understand who her audience was. None of that. Guys, understand who your audience is over and over and over again. Blake talks about listen to your audience. If I ask Darren, like top things, if I'm going to market to an audience, what's the most important thing? Is it my headline or is it their problem? Or is my headline engaging with their problem, right? Like that kind of thing.
Exactly that.
So
it's everything that you do going forwards. And if you haven't been reading the .com secrets or expert secrets or traffic secrets, you can see that the stories that are embedded in there, it always talks about the hook throughout everything that he does, all the content, whether it's the first thing that he's introducing somebody on stage, or maybe it's an ad. Something has to grip your attention. So think about your day to day. When you're out in the real world, what's hooking your attention? Even when you're driving, okay, you'll see things that are being advertised to you. You'll be hearing things that are being advertised to you. What are the things that you just don't hear or you don't see, and you've heard so many times? But also just note down in your day, how did that thing gain your attention? Also on social media as well, as you're scrolling through, as you do when you're relaxing. What is the thing that stopped your scroll? Was it something funny? Was it something that was like really crazy that just happened on screen? Was it an image? Was it a video? Was it a long piece of text? What was that thing? What was the trigger word that made you stop? And just take a note of that. And if you wanted to see examples, and I've mentioned previously, you wanted to go and follow the great person that's already created ClickFunnels. Okay, ClickFunnels, Russell Brunson. If you go to .comsecrets.com, expertsecrets.com, trafficsecrets.com, in the first couple of seconds, Blake has modeled that in the social media lead machine on the very first video. You'll see in 6 seconds, he grabs someone's attention.
You got to do it quick, guys. You know, so it really is. But you only grab their attention if you know who you're talking to.
Got to know who your perfect client avatar is.
Yeah, you got to understand your audience. So you got to do that research. It's one of the things I talk about all the time, but research it out, understand who your audience is, and then you talk to them and their problems, because no one cares about yours, right? And no one cares how much experience you've got until they know you understand their problems. And a lot of times people will, like, I've mentioned this, like one of the niches that I work with is addiction recovery, right? Like with my digital agency, there are bigger marketing companies that handle that niche. They're much larger companies than me and my partners. There are companies that do it well. There are companies that suck, but there's companies that are much, much bigger. There's companies that have in their marketing, they've got doctors and they've got therapists and they've got people that, but they don't understand the marketing side of, or then they've got just pure marketers. And we kind of come in, and there's a difference in, you know, attracting a client, because like it's not about, and what we have to help, what I help them understand, the addiction recovery centers, look, it's not about what you want to tell them. It's not about how great you are. It's about what that individual or their family needs to hear to get them to you. Oh, but we provide, that's great. Let's talk about their problems first, and then we talk about your solutions. So instead of you saying, look, I've got this cool program. Okay, well, what about my problem? Right? Like, do you understand me? That's what people care about.
Completely side with you on that, because like when we're rolling with what I do inside of the group as well, listen to everybody else's problems. I don't want to work with everybody. I don't want to get on a call with everybody as well. So you can select who you want to work with. If you really listen out to everybody else's problems, if you've built that rapport, you've got them maybe on a call with them one-on-one. Maybe it's not even a Zoom call. It could be just an audio call on Facebook or just a quick WhatsApp call. But wherever you've built the rapport to be able to gain that, you know, be able to speak to somebody and ask them questions about them and where they're at.
So all of that, building a relationship. How do I start that through Facebook, on a Facebook post or whatever? How do I build a relationship with a Facebook post or a Facebook video, or, you know, like, what do you do? So your target audience is what? Digital marketers, entrepreneurs?
My target audience is really people that already have a program or course already.
Okay. So somebody that's already got something, but they can't sell it.
Mm-hmm. And they're doing one-to-one sales.
Okay. So your audience is someone that's got a course, they're doing sales. Have you, like, how deep into your avatar have you gotten? Do you have an age group that you go after?
Yeah, specifically it's 30 to at least 60. 30
okay, so 30 to 60, have a program, trying to get sales, right? Are there some people that they follow that you know? Like, if we're building out your profile. So who does your avatar, who does your perfect customer follow?
Robert Kiyosaki, people that want to create multiple streams of income. Bob Proctor, okay. Tony Robbins, Dean Graziosi, but you can't actually use that in Facebook ads anymore with Tony Robbins. It's been removed.
Yeah, a couple of them got removed. I had the same thing. If I every once in a while I'll run an engagement ad to then retarget. So, but you can find their pages, you can find groups that are about these guys. Russell, I would say, probably falls into that category. Probably the Anthony Morrisons, the legendary marketers, Entra, some other ones like that, right? So you're going after people that have some kind of program that are trying to figure out how to get things going. 30 to 60 in sales, already have a business. Is there any other things that you've kind of built into your avatar that you understand about them?
As we're starting to see the specific avatar that may come through, we want to take them by the hand. So I realized that people really like support. They don't just want, hey, here's a membership area. People really like support. And so if you've been given the ability to have some sort of accountability or a coach, I mean, I'm a coach, but I also find coaching as well, going higher levels. But if you're just sticking at the same plateau and just thinking, I'm just going to go YouTube Academy and just watch all these videos, you're just going to stay stuck. You can either have a lot of money or you have a lot of time. If you have a lot of time, okay, go watch YouTube Academy. Okay, it's just not structured. If you've got money, you want to go faster. That's why we have like programs that are out there, and I'm going out there to seek one by one, not like so many different coaching programs at once. I can't deal with that. Go linear, go lethal. In terms of with where you want to go, know your end game, know your end goal, but stay consistent with where you're at and never ever give up. That is something that I learned over the time of the last 2 years and 7 months inside of this program, and never ever gave up. I came in brand new, so stay with where you're at right now. Understand that there are going to be struggles. Understand that there are going to be some pains. But you've got to understand the best person to really define out is you and your journey. I find that is the best type of avatar to kind of go towards, because you've already been trying to follow something already. For me personally, how I tried to define my avatar was I was in affiliate marketing, which is why I started the affiliate leads machine. I'm not the affiliate leads machine just now. So now I'm focusing on people that already have programs like we just defined out. So you can go deep. You can then, once you become the go-to expert, you can go wide, you can go general afterwards. That's what we kind of instruct you inside of this program as well. So
yeah, it's all about, stay the course, right? There's that quote that I always talk about from Tony Robbins: don't overestimate the short term, but people grossly underestimate the long term. So whoever iPad 3 is, so he's not adamant about organic ads, he's adamant about organic content, which means not running ads. Like, you do all organic, right? How often do you run ads ever?
Just started running it since Monday.
Oh, so you did start some pushing your group, or what are you doing?
Yeah, so we're just running some stats with the Facebook pixel right now. So I'm completely disattached to like any of the clicks or anything that's happening. I'm just letting Facebook do its thing. Find the audience, find the type of avatar or the type of audience that I've already defined out, and just making it run for the next couple of weeks or so, and then just look at the data afterwards. So right now,
I come back, retarget, go after those groups, get in front of the people that you want. But you've engaged organically with this audience fairly well, so you're not coming in blind, right? That's pretty fair to say, right? It's not like you're starting there.
Absolutely. So what we kind of advocate inside of this program is we find out what are the trigger points, what are the things that actually capture attention. If you haven't done your research, we've mentioned a lot of things on this call already. You can go and see what other people are doing inside of their own groups. If they're free groups, great. If you pay to get in a group, great. See what they do. See what's actually happening in your day-to-day. Take a note of those things that are actually causing those triggers, those hooks that gained your attention, that makes you want to stay in the room a little bit longer, makes you want to pay attention and read or listen or watch. Find those trigger points. But I'm not going in there blind. I've stayed with this for like 2 years and 7 months, and I decided not to do Facebook ads for that very reason. Now, that's not to say that there are people inside of here that are very savvy with ads. Yeah, go ahead, go for it. If you're good with that, then go for it. If you're not, focus on the organic side of things. And if you listen to Blake's webinar, it was where he was frustrated and he was punching the desk and he couldn't figure it out. Couldn't figure out that organic thing.
Running ads and running Facebook ads, guys, it's a gauntlet. Like, you got to be ready to spend some money, to lose your shirt on it, to not get success with, like you could do real well, but they change the algorithm so much, they throttle it for different reasons. You could run the exact same ad with the exact same demographics, the same targeting. You could run the exact same thing, and one time it'll perform really well and one time it'll suck. And it's like there's not, you didn't change anything on your end, and then something happens on there. So like there's, Facebook ads, just be ready to don't spend your grocery money on your Facebook ads. Let me just put it that way. Right.
I will say this one thing, like as I've only just like launched my ads, someone asked me yesterday on a call and he said, hey, what's your most recent win? I said, Facebook shut me down for doing ads. And we created like 9 different ad sets. Mm-hmm. And that's like just basically 5 different images, 5 different pieces of text. Testing one thing. Okay, we were only testing the image. All of them approved. The day before it starts to run, ad account gets shut down. Was I panicked? No, completely disconnected because I'm already good with my organic game. So myself and my partner, he said, I'm just going to review it. So I said, I totally trust you. Okay, so Facebook can give you some little pointers here and there. But anyway, they reviewed it and they apologized. We took a screenshot. So we took a screenshot of Facebook apologizing to us.
That's pretty fantastic, because that ain't normal. But they do. That's the thing too, is sometimes it's an AI that's reviewing things, and so it gets flagged. Sometimes it's someone from a third world country that, English is like the 3rd or 4th or 5th language. And if you're going to run ads, and we're far enough out now that I can kind of throw this out there, when the midterm elections come up in the United States, coming into September, October, November, don't be in a position where you're running ads unless you want to spend a shit ton of money and get poor results, because they're going to be spending a lot of money and everybody's going to be there looking at different things. So you got to find a way to engage without having to do paid ads during that time. Okay. On that note, we're right up at about an hour. I've got a call at 1. Darren, thank you for coming on, my man. Appreciate you as always. Everybody give Darren a round of applause. Thank you very much. We'll see you back on soon, I'm sure. Go out and have an awesome day, everybody. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Catch you on the next one, everyone.
Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Sometimes people have what it takes, but they haven't recognized it yet. Just go forward. So what do you need to do? How do you stand out? So what you need to do is be that person that's different and is bigger than you think. Rise from the ashes and fly like the phoenixes that you are.